What's up, guys? What's up? Good evening. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Espero que todo están bien y we look forward to having this great talk with you guys regarding the PPP loan program. Tenemos un evento en un live muy especial esta noche. Vamos a hablar con dos profesionales sobre el programa de protección de nómino, con dos expertos acerca de eso. Entonces, esperamos que les guste el programa. And I hope you guys will enjoy the program. We're going to get started. What's up, Carlos? Probably hear the noise in the background. It's that 7 p.m. chant. Here we go. What's up, Boss Diva? Thanks for joining. ¿Cómo está?
Hey, what's going on, Papa? How are
What's
you?
up, bro? All right? Everything good?
Excellent, brother. You know, as always, working,
Cool.
doing,
That's
doing
it.
my thing
That's,
here at
that's, that's,
work.
that's all we know.
Trying to get these people this money, man. You know how it
I
is.
hear you.
And
What's up,
some
Mustafa, man?
clarity.
What's up, Mimoon? Thank you for joining, man. Yeah, that's cool. So let's get right into it so that we can provide that value and not run up and lose time. So as I was saying in the opening, real quick, we just want to bring experts on here that know about this. Carlos Rodriguez is a financial services advisor, does a lot of things, serial entrepreneur based in Washington Heights, a clientele that really probably spans all across the country and probably abroad too. So the topic tonight is, obviously with the stimulus and everything going on, and we hope that everyone and their loved ones are staying safe during this time and getting ready for a fun weekend, but safe, within reason. The PPP program, the Payroll Protection Program. So, Carlos, if you would, because you deal with this, you deal with a lot of not just dealing with people, but just W-2 earners, but also business owners of varying degrees. If you could just talk a little bit about what that payroll protection program is and who qualifies for that, and then also maybe a little bit about how to apply for it if you already haven't already.
All right. So the PPP program was started when this pandemic started. It's basically, paycheck protection, kind of like people that were working with you. The government didn't want you laying them off, so they could go collect unemployment, which is more expensive. So they rather put it on the person who was working with them from the get. So the way you apply for the PPP is usually through whichever bank you have your bank account with, Chase, Citibank, whatever, it's real easy to apply. They usually have a link on people's bank, and you could just apply through there, send them your information. If you have W-2 employees, as opposed to 1099 employees, which are contractors, if you have W-2 employees, then you got to show proof that they do get paid by you, meaning the W-3, 941, which they're going to verify with the IRS. Yeah. Now, if you have if you are self-employed, some people are not organized like that. They probably do it, with their social or whatever. Just with the draft, with the Schedule C, if you're self-employed, you know that Schedule C is what you use to file your taxes. You send them a draft of the Schedule C, then you do a small application with them. There are some restrictions when it comes to that. If you have over $100,000 in income on your line 31, you can only do as much. So they will just calculate $100,000 to divide it into 12, then multiply by 2.5, then that will be your loan amount. Okay. Now, once you apply for that,
and when you apply, Carlos, is there like a range of time that you're seeing businesses right away?
Yeah, the second round, the first round, we all got left out because the first round, everyone who was connected to the bank's executive and stuff, they are the one who got the money. I don't know if you see in the news that the Lakers got, I don't know how many millions.
Harvard got money.
Yeah, like all these people, like, yo, these people are millionaires. Like, and we, the little
Insane.
guys, you get it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the second round was much easier. They were actually just giving it away. It was just like easy. So in a 2 or 3 day turnaround time, you have your money in the bank. Of course, there are rules by it. Rule is you gotta have. I actually have them here because I was just looking at it earlier. The rule is that you have to use 75% of it for payroll, actually. So, but if you have a W-2 person, you cannot lay them off and pay them like a 1099 contractor because, you know, that doesn't count. You got to keep the same pattern.
Yeah.
But if you, and so 75% of it goes to payroll, 25% of it goes to rent, light, blah, 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 whatever.
Expenses, right. Right.
Yeah. The thing with the rent is that you could backdate the rent back to February when everything kind of like started.
Wow.
So that's a good thing because back then nobody knew what was going on, and you come out of pocket and you didn't know if you're going to make money or not, and then you pay your rent and everything else, and then you broke. Yeah. So the rent wasn't going to go away. So that's kind of how people, businesses were going to get their loans, kind of, what's the word? Forgiven. You get it? So to get the loan forgiven, you got to use 75% of it for payroll, 25% for your rent and utilities, and you have 8 weeks from the date that you got the loan, right? So then you have to apply for the forgiveness. So you have to approve that you actually used it for that. I saw in the news, some guy got, I don't know how much money, he bought a Rolls Royce, he bought blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this freaking guy, like, this is crazy. Like, people just go nuts, you know, but.
So now,
go ahead.
Is there a time frame? The time frame that you can apply? It's how long is it?
I think you have until June 30th. I think you have, but some banks are not even accepting anymore. So you have to see which bank you have, and hopefully you get in. But if you apply before, like back in May, April, they'll just stay with your application and send them to send you the documents you need.
Okay. So
and that's basically it with that. Another thing with that, as you guys know, well, you guys don't know, but I'm also a tax professional. So whatever you pay with a PPP and is forgiven, you cannot deduct it in your business taxes later. That's double dipping, and you know they got their own way of doing it, but you cannot deduct it on your taxes. Whatever you use this money for business expense, you cannot deduct on the taxes.
Yeah. Let me just try to pin this for you. And guys, these are two longtime professionals in this space. So I definitely, you know, we're only on here for an hour. So if you want to reach out to them with questions later, you know, please do so, because these guys, they're very good at what they do. So Carlos, just in terms of with this program, so you're saying you have to apply with so if you have your business account with Bank of America, for example, you got to do it through them. You already have a relationship with them.
Yeah, and you have to show that you had the bank account in February. So you got to show them a copy of your bank statement for February. It's not like you have a tax ID for I don't know how many years and you're trying to open a bank account now. No, don't be slick. That's not going to work. Right. It's not going to happen. Right. Besides the fact that the banks are not going to open the account for you. They've been instructed already not to, and they're closed. But, you know, you got to have the bank statement from back in February. So it's going to show that you had the business prior to all this shutdown.
Okay. Well, since you're dealing with a lot of business owners of varying sizes, anything that you're seeing that people should be aware of that, you know, you mentioned a few things, but any other words of caution that you want to maybe mention?
Keep track of your expenses. Very important. Keep track of your expenses, especially when it comes to the payroll. So if you are self-employed, well, if you have a W-2 person, you know, you're going to get your 941, your W-3, so you're going to have proof right there off the bat. But if you're self-employed, please keep track of whatever check you pay. Like I have a lot of guys here who are 1099. So, you know, whenever I do give them the checks, I still have all my guys. I haven't let go of anyone. We're still chugging along. You know, I make sure I put payroll for blah, blah, blah week. You have 8 weeks to use this money. So
Yeah.
from the time that you get it, you got to make sure you use it in the next 8 weeks. If not, the PPP program can actually go into your bank account and take the money back out.
And
So you
and
have
just
8
so
weeks
we're
to use it.
right, right. And then just so we're clear with it, and guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. I put Carlos's handle there. You can reach out to him. Great guy, knows what he's doing, and we're gonna touch upon other things that he does as well, other services that he provides. So what we talk about the loan forgiveness and stuff like that. So just so we're sure, what part of it is forgiven?
All right. So this is what I have here. Okay. So what qualifies as payroll cost? So payroll cost is obviously, payroll meaning you have a W-2 person, right? So, whatever the payroll company charges you, compensation to employee, cash tips, or the equivalent of, payments for vacations, parental, family, medical, sick leave, allowance for separation of dismissal, payments for provision of employees' benefits, payments of state and local taxes, of course. And then for an independent contractor, you could use, for example, you needed someone to fix something in your office, like you give him a 1099, or you give him a check and it's based on whatever work they did at the office. The big thing is what does not qualify as payroll, right?
Yeah.
So what does not qualify is any compensation of an employee whose principal place of residence is outside of the United States. So if the person is not here, don't try to send money to Santo Domingo to a person that's over there and you say that's your person. No, that won't work. Because remember, the government is giving you this money, but when that person reports that income, they got to pay taxes on it. So this is how they get the money back. It's not just like that, right? So the compensation of an individual employee in excess of an annual salary of 100,000. I think I said that before. The maximum is up to 100. They divide that into 12, so it becomes to like $8,333 per month. So it cannot be more than that. Okay. The compensation of an individual who received a 1099 as opposed to a W-2. Remember, I said this before. If you have a W-2 person, you cannot switch him to a 1099.
Right. Or the other way around, right?
Well, the other way, right? Well, let me get to that part.
Okay.
I'm just saying the rules for people who have W-2s, right? So federal employment taxes imposed or withheld between February 15 of this year and June 30th, including the employees and employee shares of FICA, railroad retirement taxes, income taxes required to be withheld from employees. Like none of that stuff is deductible because that part goes to the employee part. It doesn't go to you, the employer. So that's not deductible on your end. Qualified sick leave and family leave wages for which a credit is allowed under Section 701 and Section 703 of the Families First Coronavirus Response is not deductible. Seasonal employees may determine average monthly payroll using the 12-week time period starting from February 15 to March 1st, 2019. New employers may determine average monthly payroll using the time period from January 1st to February 29, 2020.
What side are you getting this from, Carlos? Just so people want to check it out later on their own.
The SBA.org website. That's what
SBA.org. Small Business Administration.
Yeah. Okay,
SBA.gov or SBA? Okay, SBA.gov.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yep. I'm looking at it too. Cool. Yeah. So we don't run out of time, and I just want to leave. If we have some time, guys, if you have any questions, put them in there. We'll try to get to them. We have a second guest, Eduardo Lantigua, who's owner of Reaction Tax, who's going to join us on the second half here at 7:30. Carlos, si le podemos dar un poco de esa información en español, como un breve, ¿sabe?
Claro.
Del PPP.
Ok, so básicamente el PPP es para la persona que tienen empleados y entonces el gobierno no quiere que usted lo despida o lo ponga, le dé layoff, porque el gobierno no quiere que vayan a coger unemployment, porque usted sabe que le va a salir más caro al gobierno mantener a esa persona que prestarle a usted el dinero y usted lo tenga en su payroll.
Right.
So, las reglas del PPP tiene que ser, son 75% del dinero recibido sería para el payroll y el 25% para la renta, utilidades y cosas de la oficina, nada personales. Hay algunas reglas que hay que seguir, por ejemplo, si la persona es un W2, empleado con W2, no puede cambiarlo a 1099 como a independent contractor porque el gobierno quiere todavía recibir esos taxes. ¿Comprende? So, usted no puede cambiarlo.
Para
También
aplicar,
usted,
para aplicar para el préstamo.
para aplicar para el PPP, usted tiene que ir al banco donde usted tenga la relación con su negocio. Usualmente ellos tienen un desenlace que usted va y llena, como ya ellos tienen toda su información, solamente le piden cosas básicas, información de identificación y cosas básicas. Entonces ahí le piden entonces también el costo por mes de payroll. So, usted divide el costo que usted tiene por el año, lo divide entre 12 y lo multiplica por 2.5. Ahí le va a dar el costo a usted. Entonces, ese es el dinero que le prestan a usted automáticamente. Se lo dan como en 2 o 3 días después que empiezan a procesar su solicitud. Y nada. This is basically it.
Right. Cool.
Es bien simple, no es nada fuera de este mundo.
Right. Carlos, if you can just share, because you do a lot of things, as I mentioned in the opening, you have several businesses. Talk a little bit about what you do. And like I said, guys, if you have his handles there, Carlos Rodriguez. If you have any questions, guys, put it in there in the comment section. Try to get to him as quickly as we can.
All right. We're financial advisors. We deal a lot with anything that has to do with money. You know, a lot of the people that I deal with, you know, people from the community, a lot of business owners. You know, I've been in business for over 25 years. I have 4 different businesses. I'm a real estate broker, 15 years, tax professional, 15 years, financial advisors for the last 6 years. So all that stuff that we do here, usually people need. So, you know, we have a lot of information here. We don't charge for consultation. We're in the neighborhood. We like to share whatever we know with whoever's around us, because what we want them to do is grow and also pass the torch to next generations.
Right.
So our communities could be better.
Right.
We are located in the heart of Washington Heights. We are RTS Capital Holdings. We deal a lot with retirement plans, 401ks, life insurance, index IOLs, taxes, bienes raíces. En fin, anything that has to do with money and your future, we do.
Okay. Awesome.
You can guys reach out, and you know, I'm more than happy to help you guys in whatever you need. There's no charge to speak unless you make me work.
Right. That's it. Guys, any questions for Carlos? And appreciate your time, Carlos. Anything else that you wanted to add regarding the PPP or anything else that we should keep in mind?
Yeah. I want to add one more thing for non-employers, not people that do not file W-2. You could actually apply with your Schedule C, with your Schedule C through your bank. They're going to ask you for your your tax return, your personal tax return if you have a Schedule C. So what they look at is your line 31. If your line 31 is under 30, it's under 100, then you just divide that number into 12, multiply by 2.5. That's your loan amount. If it's over 100, you got to bring it down to 100 and then divide that. Pretty simple. The turnaround time is quick. If you have any questions about it, you guys could just reach out, and I'll be more than happy to help.
And that's for self-employed people, 1099 people?
1099 people, yes.
Okay, cool, awesome. Any questions, guys? Let me just make sure here. We have several people came in, so I appreciate you guys. Agradecemos que vinieron a oír a Carlos Rodriguez esta noche. Any questions? All right, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, Carlos is located right 1061 St. Nick Avenue in the heart of Washington Heights. You know, tremendous professional, been doing it a long time. And if anything else you want to add, we're waiting for Reaction Tax. Gracias, Cristina. ¿Alguna pregunta tiene? Anybody with any questions? ¿Alguna pregunta? Su oficina llenan y contar también. Okay, hold on. We had a question. Boss Diva, en tu oficina llenan y contar también? ¿Y hasta cuándo tengo para llenarla? When does she
Bueno,
have until to do it?
el deadline la subieron a julio 15. Y estamos disponibles online, no estamos recibiendo personas a la oficina, se hace todo remotely. Usted puede firmar, you can sign on your phone, direct deposit into your account, you don't have to come in. We do FaceTime, we do Zoom, we do emails, we do text. Just, for your safety and our safety, we just restraining from that, right. But we can definitely help out whoever needs.
Until you have until July 15th to file, right?
Until July 15th, correct.
All right, so you got about a month and a half roughly. Okay, cool. All right, let me. And Edward, I saw that you're here. Thanks, Edward, for joining us of Reaction Tax. Any other questions before we move on? All right, cool. Okay, all right. Carlos, thank you so much. Carlos Rodriguez of RTS, right in the heart of Washington Heights. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks for having me, bro, and God bless. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
Take care, everybody. Edward, I'm gonna be watching you, brother. I love you, brother. I'm a fan, bro.
Take care.
Nos vemos. Cuídate.
All right. All right. Okay, so now, guys, we have coming up Edward Antigua, owner of Reaction Tax, also in Upper Manhattan. And he's going to be talking a little bit more about these guidelines, so forth. And just wait for him to send that request. And you see his handle there, at Reaction Tax. Excuse me. By the way, for those that don't know, I'm from Upper Manhattan. So, I know, these guys have a long track record, and I know what they're doing for the community. What's up, Panamera? Appreciate you reaching out. Edward, you got it. Put in the request so you can join in. Here we go. Cool. Here we go. Hey, ahí está.
I did the request.
That's it. Oh, cool. So,
how are you? How's everything?
Good. How are you, brother?
Good. Listening to Carlos there, my boy Carlos. You gotta love it.
That's it. Yeah.
That spirit. Carlos has that spirit that every time I'm feeling down, I just call Carlos. Carlos, ¿qué es lo que está pasando? It's like, no, vamos a hacer la vaina.
Entonces, necesita eso. A veces
so
eso, yeah.
He's a very positive guy. I'm actually very lucky to have met him. And we had a relationship back. We met through other parties, and we created our relationship mostly more through social media. And then we just hooked up, and we're like, we have that mindset of just like helping people and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, let's open up, Edward, there, since we have a little time. Just talk about how you got started and the business that you created, and what you provide to so many people, businesses, individuals, so forth.
Well, I basically got started in 1997. My family has been involved in the multi-services type of businesses in the community. If you've been around, you probably know Maria's Travel 179th and Audubon, Randy Ramos up in 207 and Isham. We brought up the black car industry up here as far as the insurance side for the TOC. And they were the big Lincolns, the big square Lincolns and the Oldsmobiles and stuff like that. So we had the insurance there. And then I got more involved with the tax business, and I got more involved with the immigration side, tax business, and then just helping out people. And I stick to that field every day, learning more. And the insurance side, obviously, I'm like Carlos. Carlos does mostly life and financial. I do the P&C side of it, property and commercial.
Okay.
Plus, I'm an enrolled agent, so I do a little more specialty in tax preparation as far as tax representation and stuff like that. When people have debts and stuff like that, we could actually, help them out with that.
Okay, cool. And you're based in Upper Manhattan as well, right?
I'm in Inwood, Washington Heights. I'm in the Dyckman area. We've been up here since 2003. That's awesome. In the same neighborhood, different locations, but same neighborhood. We've been up here also. And
so obviously you guys are still operating. Are you keep having people work from home, or how
we've been working on March 23rd 3rd, I believe, was the day we decided to just start working from home. Basically, we sent our staff remote and we started working from home. And we've been working virtually. It's been crazy because we weren't really used to this working. We did virtual work, but not used to this kind of massive virtual work, and with everything that's going on as far as the stimulus packages and PPP loans and all the chaos, the unemployment, all the chaos that's been going on.
What have you been, now obviously, we'll get to the PPPs, but is there anything that you've really been helping clients with right now, a lot of, or do you have people still filing a lot?
We've been filing tax returns. We received a lot of people that are non-filers that have not filed for years, so they wanted to get a little cut of that stimulus check. So we received some of those. Obviously, we also been helping out with the PPP loans since we have business clients, and obviously not applying for unemployment for people since that's kind of a personal thing, but guiding them. We have to guide them as far as what to answer and not what to answer. So the stimulus checks questions, it's been, I tell Carlos all the time, it's like, necesitamos 2 meses libre because it's just chaotic. Sometimes we just don't understand how we take in so much,
Right. And especially because of the mad rush of so many people applying, right? And you've heard about systems crashing and this and that.
Right.
Mira, Edward, I can't get through. What's going on? Or I can't. I'm not online. I don't feel comfortable doing it online. And really, that's really the best way.
Well, you got to remember one thing. Our community, we do serve. The younger crowd is growing, but we do serve that older crowd that's not that tech savvy.
Right.
And you could get a 21-year-old to they probably know more than us about computers and software. Right. But we deal a lot with the older crowd, and those people they need a lot more help.
They need help. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So in regards to the PPP, so Carlos went over what it is, what companies qualify for it, how to apply. What other guidelines can you share? And also, I know we talked a little bit about before, just effects that you see in the community in regards to 1099 workers and a lot of the small businesses in the communities. If you could talk a little bit about, from your perspective, maybe things that you've even been going through with some of your business clients.
Well, the biggest, I'm sorry, I think I gotta mute this thing. I think the biggest situation we're gonna have in our neighborhood is the people actually getting the forgiven part. You remember, people rushed in to get these loans. These loans were meant to keep businesses running, but a lot of our businesses are shut down. So in order to get the forgiven part, there's a period in time where they need to be in payroll. Now there's additional guidance. Carlos did a great job explaining it. There's some additional guidance to this. The forgiveness application is an 11-page application. It's not just, here's my paperwork and forgive it. There's formulas to it. They want to make sure that you have the same amount of staff before the pandemic and after the pandemic. So they just don't want to forgive the loan. They want to make sure that the staff is there. So there's a formula to it that they're using. So you definitely have to document your payroll correctly. That's one thing, because 75% of the loan has to be in payroll. Now, if you're an owner-employee, there's a restriction to that, because some employees, I've spoken to some employees, some owners, they're like, well, I'll just raise my payroll. Doesn't work that way. They want you to separate your income. So you could pay an employee up to $100,000 and divide that by X amount, but you can't just say, let's say you got a $200,000 loan, you can't just write off increase your payroll, because they're capping the owner-employee to $15,384 for the 8-week period.
Okay.
There's one good thing that I got to correct Carlos on, and this actually he probably wasn't aware of. They did come out because a lot of businesses were complaining. They said, hey, what if I got my loan back in April? I'm still not open. So what they're saying is you're going to be able to forgive the loan for the 8 weeks period, 56 days, once you start using your loan.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing for a lot of small businesses because they're still under mandated order to be shut down.
Okay.
So that guidance changed a little bit. There's also some additional guidance where they're looking to, the bill was just put in the Senate to see if they could extend the 8-week periods to 16 weeks.
Is that with the HEROES Act or that's something separate?
That's not with the HEROES Act.
Okay.
No, it's a separate bill. It's a separate bill.
Okay.
They want to extend it to 16 weeks. Not approved, but they want to extend it to 16 weeks. They also want to see if they could get instead of the deadline to apply is June 30th, but they want to see if they could do it to December. Now, mind you, a lot of the banks are not even accepting these loans anymore. So you got Chase, Bank of America. The first time around, it was a mess. You know, they didn't approve a lot of the small businesses around here. Second time around, they were a little better. They got that pushback from the government, but now they're really not accepting it. So you have to go to fintechs. You know, the fintechs companies like the Lendios, Cabbage, small businesses, Bluevine.
Why is that?
Well, there's a certain limit. You know that. Remember, a lot of these loans they're supposed to be forgiven. So it doesn't mean nobody's going to pay for them. The government's going to pay the banks.
Yeah.
You know, once you have all the proper paperwork, they'll pay the banks. But you got to remember, the banks, they're not in the business. They don't want to go after these people. So they're realizing that a lot of people are not going to get loan forgiven, and it's just going to turn out to be a 2-year loan.
Okay.
You know, but the banks don't want to deal with that. The banks don't want to deal with that mess.
They just want to lend money, make money. Yeah.
But there's an important fact to this that we must clear up. A lot of people applied for the EIDL loans. The EIDL loans were the economic injury disaster loans, right? So a lot of people applied before, some people apply after. A lot of people got grants. Some people got up to $10,000. But then they quickly changed it to $1,000 per employee. If you got a PPP loan and you got an EIDL, that portion of the grant is not going to be forgiven. So, example, if you got $100 for PPP and you got $100 for your ADL, you're going to have to pay the $100 because you got the grant.
Okay.
So a lot of small businesses are going to be involved with that. Then you also have, like Carlos mentioned, you're not going to be able to deduct the amount you used with a PPP loan. So if you use $100 for payroll, you can't deduct it. So that's going to increase your tax liability a little bit.
Okay.
But the good part, the good part about this is, let's say you don't get your loan forgiven. Let's say it just doesn't work. You don't get your loan forgiven.
Yeah.
The interest rate is 1%.
Yeah.
I mean, no other time in history you're going to get a loan at 1%.
Right.
So
no cost money. Yeah.
So if your business got $20,000 at 1%, you do have to pay it back in 2 years, but it's 1%.
Right.
So the PPP program, you don't really have to use it for payroll or utilities or mortgages and all these things, as long as you consider it a loan.
Okay.
And you're responsible for it within 24 months.
Okay.
If you want to get it forgiven, then there's a whole bunch of guidelines. It's not as, like Carlos mentioned, getting the loan in reality it's not that hard. I mean, when the banks were working, you submit the W-3, the 941s, you submit the forms, and they're going to calculate it. It was, simple math. Your payroll was 30,000. They'll divide it by 12, 2.5 of that. They get it. They give you that loan if you get approved. You have the paperwork. The forgiven part's going to be the one, because the SBA doesn't want to forgive the loans. Think about it. They want you to pay the loans.
Yeah.
So they're going to put little traps here and there, so you could actually prove them. And we will recommend. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, and the loan would have to be paid back in full in 24 months from the time you got it?
Well, a lot of banks, what they're doing is they're already doing schedule. So you don't pay anything on the loan for 6 months.
Okay.
For the PPP, but they're already doing some schedules for people. You have to pay X amount after this period. That way you pay it off. Okay. Right. So they're already doing some schedules. Okay. If you submit the paperwork after the 8-week periods and you submit the forgiveness note from the SBA, and you submit that paperwork, then obviously they're going to forgive the loan. All right. If it gets approved by the SBA, because the key part is you're going to submit the paperwork to the lender, but the SBA has the final word on it.
Okay.
So it's going to be verified. It's just you're not going to submit fake payroll documents, and then it doesn't get verified.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Edwin. It's great info. And again, guys, his handle there at Reaction Tax. Christina, thank you for your question. Is it possible to get the stimulus check if I didn't work and didn't file for 3 years? I have not received anything. Thanks for your question.
Well, if you didn't work, right? So if you didn't work, you normally don't file. But because of the stimulus check, there is a small form. There's a small economic form economic injury, sorry, there's a small form that was created by the IRS. So you could, it's considered the non-filers, that you could file that form, and that way you could qualify to get that check.
Okay.
So, but usually in the case, you don't file. I mean, if you have no income, you have no income.
Right.
But that's the case we've been seeing also. There are a lot of people coming out that say, hey, I didn't work. I have no income. I have no stuff. Now, if that person is dependent of another person, like if that person, you have a lot of situations where kids claim their parents. Now, the parent doesn't get the stimulus because they're dependent.
Right. Right. Yeah, you
Right.
can't do it that way. You're not going to get that. Right.
You're not going to get it.
Carlos has a question. Please speak about the non-grant part of the SBA. Thanks, Carlos.
So the non-grant part about the SBA, you have everything's tied in, right? You got the PPP program. Remember, a lot of these terms are new for people, but they've been around for years. They've always been around because the PPP is just a loan program that was out there by the SBA. The economic injury disaster loan has been around. Every time there's a disaster in the entire country, they apply for these loans.
Now we're seeing all of them.
Now it's just nationwide. Now it's like everywhere. So there was a grant, right?
Yeah.
There was what happened, right? When the whole pandemic happened, the SBA was trying to get money out because everybody was suffering. So the SBA rolled out the economic injury disaster loan. The system crashed. Then they did a streamlined application. During the streamlined application, they say, hey, apply here if you're a business owner. Even self-employed people did it, and you could get up to $10,000. So a lot of people applied for that, but then the government said quickly, well, no, we're going to give it per employee, $1,000 per employee. So some people got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Some people have 4 companies, 5 companies. They apply for different companies.
Okay.
But what the PPP program does is it says, hey, if you got an EIDL advance, which is a grant,
yeah,
we're gonna roll that into the PPP program, and you're gonna have to pay money on that. So if you got $4,000, they're gonna roll that in, right? They're gonna roll that into the PPP.
You mean a $4,000 grant?
Right, a $4,000 grant. Let's say you got a $4,000 grant,
right,
and you got a $10,000 PPP program.
Okay. So
and
14,
you use
okay.
right, so you use $10,000 in payroll. You're gonna have to pay the $4,000 back.
Right, because you got
the grant.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you got the grant.
Right.
Now, if you did not apply for the PPP program, and you only got the grant, then it's a grant. Even if you don't get approved for the additional EIDL, because the EIDL grant is part of an application, of a longer application process where you could get additional funding depending on your sales. So it depends on the sales, on your credit, on your net income for your business. That also has to be used for a certain, you can't take the 100,000 if they give you and buy a Rolls Royce, like Carlos mentioned. You have to be used for working capital,
right,
and they're very strict about that.
Right. Edward, Edward, what's a grant? What is that? It's not a loan. Like, what is it? Is it like a gift?
Well, in their term, it is actually going to become a gift for a lot of people. For the first time in history, craziness. I never seen it in my life. For a lot of people, it's going to become a gift. Those that were lucky enough to get it, God bless them. Because
right,
even if they don't get approved for the EIDL program, they still qualify for that grant, and the SBA can come back for it.
Okay.
So and some people got $10,000 as a gift.
Right. Okay. Christina, you had a question. So let's, Edward, with this question, la puso en español, entonces vamos a darle después de esto un breve resumen como en español sobre de lo que habló. Otra pregunta: mis familiares mayores que reciben su social no han recibido el cheque de estímulo. Ellos lo van a recibir, dicen en la noticia, pero ¿cuándo? Hay mucha gente que no le han dado nada.
Eso es un problema en nuestra comunidad, con los cheques de estímulo. Muchas personas que están en SSI, el gobierno, había un revolú grande con eso, que decían primero, no, tiene que llenar la planilla, no tiene que llenar, entonces confundieron las personas. Después Treasury Department dijo, no, esas personas que tienen Social Security y SSI, vamos a darle su cheque normalmente como lo reciben. Ahora, ¿qué fecha? Ellos empezaron a trabajar por estados. No todos los estados lo mandaron a tiempo. El día 15 de este mes le pagaron a muchas personas que tenían Social Security y SSI y Disability, le dieron el stimulus. Todavía están pagando. Ahora, si para fin de este mes yo diría que si para fin de este mes o al principio del mes que viene todavía no ha recibido, ya por fin el gobierno abrió, el IRS abrió los teléfonos, la línea de teléfono, y les recomiendo que llamen para ver qué ha pasado. Lo que no hemos dado cuenta es que muchas de esas personas han sido depende de otras personas y no se han dado cuenta. Hay un hijo, una hija, una tía, un tío que lo ha puesto de depende y por eso no ha recibido el dinero.
Yeah, no lo va a recibir.
Y a veces a ser mayor de edad, 70 años, 75 años, no tienen control, no saben, no tienen control de eso. No, como no llenan impuestos, le ha salido eso.
Ok. Carlos, creo que tenía pregunta. Si recibe el EIDL encima de grant, ¿quiere hablar un poco sobre eso?
Okay. Right, I know what he means. So si recibe el EIDL loan, so un ejemplo, si recibe $100,000, vamos a decir, y le dieron un grant de 10,000, deben 110,000, porque el EIDL es un préstamo que debe. O lo que harían es, también lo que el SBA está haciendo es que si la aprueban 100 y le dieron 10, pues nada más le dan 90. Nada más le dan los 90.
¿Para cuándo se tiene que pagarse ese préstamo?
Lo bueno del EIDL, que es un 3.75% de interés y es a 30 años.
Es como una hipoteca.
Ahora, lo malo es que el SBA es dueño de tu negocio, es dueño de tu corporación, es dueño de todo lo que tiene que ver con tu corporación. Al momento que tú firmaste, hasta el lapicero que tú tienes en la mano es de ellos. You know, they word it very carefully. You know,
that's in the fine print.
That's in the fine print. Hasta el lapicero, la calculadora, todo es de ellos. Al momento que tú firmaste. So, hay que tener un poquito de cuenta, porque hay muchos negocios, como está la situación, que no sabemos si van a sobrevivir el año. Sí. Entonces, si una gente coge un préstamo, cuando viene a ver, y es un personal guarantor, porque para un préstamo de $25,000 en adelante, el que firma del presidente es un guarantor personal. Entonces, para esa persona le puede beneficiar o le puede afectar. Tienen que ver de qué manera. También otra cosa es que tiene que tener cuenta con los fondos. Lo que les recomendamos es que tenga una cuenta aparte y que demuestre que lo está usando para working capital. Porque si lo usó para viajar a República Dominicana, ahí perdió el mérito.
O para compra y cosas, y barbecue, y eso no.
Para barbecue, Memorial Day, lo que sea, aunque ahora es diferente, ahí viene el problema.
Right, ok. Edward, si puede hablar, déjame ver si tenemos otra pregunta. Si tiene preguntas, no, por favor, póngalo ahí para Edward contestarle.
Dice que a los 30 años, sí, son 30 años.
Son 30 años, it's a mortgage. So, what services, if people, whether they're individuals, small business owners, can they contact you, outside of here for help? What are some things that you provide for the community? And people, do you have people also outside of New York City? Clients?
Well, we serve all 50 states. We have clients in California, we have clients in Florida, we have clients in Atlanta. So we serve all 50 states. Some of those clients have been clients that I can't say we market to that market. It's just clients that have moved over there, and they moved to I have one in North Dakota. I'm like, what are you doing in North Dakota? A New Yorker from North Dakota. So they moved to those places, and we continue to serve them. So we have clients all over the place. But our business is tax preparation, personal and business. We also provide payroll services and accounting, but we also do insurance like workers' comp and PNC. I am known also to be doing immigration paperwork, even though I don't really promote it. It's mostly people that look for us. We've been doing it for a long time. But our main niche is tax preparation and helping small businesses get organized. I think one of the problems we're going to face in our neighborhood, and Carlos knows this, and you probably know this yourself, is it's what's coming. Right now it's just the chaos. Right now it's the hurricane. It's the hurricane. After the hurricane, we're not going to get a calm because we're spending. The United States is spending. They just spent $2.5 trillion. They're looking to probably. Well, they said today it might be $1 trillion additional package. But how about all the unemployment costs? How about all the revenue the city's losing? So who ends up paying for that? Usually small businesses and the middle class. So,
And
what's coming? What's coming? The storm that's coming. I think businesses need to get prepared.
yeah.
If they're not prepared, if the pandemic doesn't put them out, the government's going to put them out.
And
And that goes,
yeah. Why do you say that? Can you elaborate a little bit?
well, coming from a Dominican background and coming from our small business mom and pops, most of them are very disorganized. Most of them are very disorganized. They don't keep track of things. They believe things are, nunca me va a pasar a mí, nunca esto, nunca el otro. And they don't, the government, there's, so let's say in financial, right, and taxes. People believe just because I pay for it with a credit card, it's a deduction. No, the IRS, if an auditor catches you and they decide to do an audit, they want to see that credit card statement. They want to see the receipt for what you paid for, and they want to see how you paid for it. Because you could go to Staples and have a $300 receipt, but what if you bought $300 worth of chocolate?
Yeah.
How can you justify that was for the business? So they want to have the receipt. Most of our businesses up here don't have that. Another major situation we have up here is with the 1099s. We have a lot of people that are employees and they're being paid with 1099s. Now with the Department of Labor getting all these unemployment claims, that's going to be a hot mess. But we probably need 2 hours for that.
Say that part again. They're not employees.
Well, we have, no. So we have, I'll give you an example. You own a barbershop and you pay that barber weekly $400. You pay them weekly and you require that barber to be there from 9 in the morning to 6 at night, Monday to Saturday. You pay them weekly. You require their hours. They're your employees.
Yeah.
Now, different situation. The barber rents a chair from you.
Right.
He rents a chair from you. He's an independent contractor.
Right.
He has a contract. He has a rentals agreement. He's a 1099 employee. He's an independent contractor.
He doesn't cut hair. He's not making money.
You have a lady that cleans your office and comes in when she wants, when she can, and you pay her once a month for the check. That's a 1099. If you have a lady there that serves coffee and cleans your office on a daily basis, and Saturday comes or sábado llega y tú le pagas, they're an employee. So, but in our community, daycare centers, they go through this horribly. They have people working there, 8 to 5, and they're getting paid as an independent contractor when in reality they're an employee.
Okay.
So that's going to be a major issue.
And you're saying it's going to be an issue because now they're really 1099 workers, but they're applying for unemployment.
Right. So for the first time in history, self-employed people were allowed to apply for unemployment. Right. This was due to the pandemic, and it was due through the federal government. The states were not even ready. That's why the system crashed. The states, when they had to bring the guys from Google, bring the guys from Microsoft, they had to bring a whole bunch of new tech. I think 12-year-olds were working on it because they couldn't figure it out. Yeah. So one of the questions was, who's your employer? Most people are self-employed. They would put ABC Daycare. But in reality, they were not supposed to put ABC Daycare because they were self-employed. So being that they were self-employed, they were supposed to put self-employed. Okay. So the unemployment, the New York State Department of Labor collects that information. What are they going to do within 6 months? They're going to start knocking on doors. Because they want to collect some of this revenue back. Remember, revenue is going out. It's going out like crazy now. People are getting money. But who's going to pay for this? Somebody is.
And that's the other piece, is that with all this economic shutdown, the city, local, state governments, they're not getting that revenue. So, and that's another part of this,
Somebody's paying for it. Somebody's paying for it.
All right.
I mean, I don't know who's going to pay for it, but somebody's going to pay for it in the long run.
Christina, with another question. Entonces, al que le paguen en efectivo y está cogiendo desempleo, le van a cobrar para atrás. Bueno, pues la gente, okay, so it's a comment. Yeah, eso así mismo va a ser un problema. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos had a question. Are there restrictions? Is that about the grant and the EIDL? I don't know. Sorry,
So the EI is confusing, right? Because all these things are new to a lot of people. The EIDL, there's two components: the grant and the loan, right? So the grant is part of the loan, but at the same time, the grant could just be a grant. But there's two components to it. But the grant could also be considered into the PPP program, because if you just got the grant and not the actual loan, they just want to have one loan for you, and they're going to throw it into the PPP.
Okay.
If you got the loan, then they're going to deduct that from the grant.
Okay.
So it gets a little confusing. This is why the applying part, a lot of people, we spoke to a lot of people, and we're like, ¿cuánto tú me cobras para aplicar? I said, for the EIDL is this much, for the PPP, we're not supposed to charge, but that's not the issue. The issue is going to come with the forgiven part and the forecast and what comes after.
Yeah.
That's going to be the major issue.
Right.
For the self-employed, also for the self-employed, there's one good thing for the self-employed program. Carlos was right. The loan amount was based on line 31 divided by 12. If it does not exceed $100,000, perfect. 2.5 of that, they give you the loan. In this scenario, the self-employed for the PPP come out a little better than the people that have W-2. Why? Because they're going to base it off to 2019's taxes.
Okay.
So they're going to base the forgiveness part out of that.
Okay.
The people that are self-employed, the people that own business, like if you own an S corp, if you own a regular corporation, you're going to have to really divide everything up. You're going to have to divide what you pay your employees and what income was there in W-2 for the owner operator.
Okay.
So any distributions, I know Carlos deals with a lot with S corps a lot. Any distributions, you cannot use them for forgiveness. So any ownership and distribution above 20%, you can't really use them for forgiveness.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of confusion.
There's a lot.
I suspect there's probably going to be a lot of people. Oh, another important fact. They were going to audit a lot of these small businesses for the loans, because in good faith, you have to certify that this money you really needed to keep on. But because the Lakers applied and all these big Shake Shack, all these big companies applied and they got the loans, they changed things around and they said, well, if your business is under $2 million or you got under $2 million in loan, we're going to do a safe harbor and not audit you. So that's a good thing for the small businesses, because that was something else that we're going to have to deal with.
And what's safe harbor? What does that mean?
Well, safe harbor means you apply, you mark, you certify in good faith, and it's saying we're gonna take your word for it.
Okay.
We're gonna take your word for it. We're gonna believe you. Don't get used to it, but we're gonna believe you this time, because they don't have the staff to go after all these businesses. But in the meantime, they just say we're gonna believe you. We're gonna believe you for this, and that's the safe harbor method. Okay. And it's also used on a tax when you're doing taxes for like the home office and different things. Yeah. The safe harbor method is used a lot. Also for real estate. I know you do real estate, so right. Safe harbor method is used for a couple of things there.
Okay. All right. Listen, a lot of great information. Like I said, Carlos Rodriguez's handle is there. Edward's handle at Reaction Tax. These guys, please, guys, if there's any other questions or you need help with one of these products, or maybe family, friends that have questions, please reach out to these guys. They both happen to be in Upper Manhattan, but they serve people all over the country. Edward, thanks so much, man. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with, and in case anyone has any questions, please? Well, we got a few more minutes here before they kick us out.
If anybody has a question, of course, we'll answer. I mean, Carlos could answer, and thank you, Carlos, for allowing me to come in with you and Bias. There's a lot of confusing information out there. This is why I tell people, there's a lot of tax preparers out there. There's a lot of people that so-called prepare taxes, but not a lot of people are available to give you the proper information. Yeah. You call Carlos, he picks up the phone and he answers you. Sometimes sometimes I'm so stressed out that I don't want to speak to my own family. I don't want to speak to my kids because there's so many calls. We got about 300 calls easy on different information. Today I told my staff, no me pasen más llamadas de unemployment porque es que, Dios mío, you know, it's like, man, we're going nuts.
It's
The stimulus
overwhelming.
checks,
Yeah.
the stimulus checks, same thing. But we understand we have a job to do. As tax professionals, we're looked upon to help our community. And if we could help in any way possible, we try. It's just of nature. I think it comes out of nature to help people. And these things, we appreciate that you're taking the time to, you know, doing these lives because people get informed, and there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of misinformation. And when you go, I mean, cuando tú vas donde un llena papeles, because there's a lot of them out there, un llena papeles, that you can't find them in April, and you can't find them in May. I don't understand why people continue to go there. I really don't. Go to someone you could find in November and say, hey, you know what? I got this letter from the government, and they could help you. Yeah. Because why do you go to a basement to prepare your taxes and the guy's gone? I don't know para dónde. Se va para Dubai. You know, it's like,
and it's not.
You can't
it's not
find
about who charges the cheapest. It's not about that.
That's one thing in our community, you know, and I think that's going to change. Because a lot of people will always look, ¿quién me cobra 50 pesos, 100 pesos? Not appreciating the value. You know, we go through a lot of continuing education. Like, we go through a lot of continuing education, a lot of headaches. And people think our job stops, and you've done taxes, so people think our job stops once the taxes are done. It doesn't stop there. You know, we have to hold your file for 3 years. We're responsible to the IRS. We get penalties up to $2,200 for un papelito que nos falte, $2,200 in penalties. You know, it's just insane. I mean, la gente viene y dice, dame esto, y yo le digo, no, yo no vendo plátano. Digo, yo vendo plátano en otro lado, no aquí, tú sabes. You know? Vete a la bodega a comprar plátano. pero, you know, we work with them. We work with them,
man. You know, I get it. I understand completely.
Yeah.
Guys, any questions before we finish up? Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Edward. No, it was great. It was great. A lot of good information. Maybe we'll do an updated one, maybe further along when there's new information. Because I think, you know, this is all good information. And you know, I'm learning too. And thank you, Christina. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Edward, anything you want to say in parting before we finish up?
I think I took up a lot more of Carlos' time. Ese me fue, se me escondió. No, thank you. I know you reached out to me, Kevin Orlando. Kevin Orlando is another great human being that's always willing to help out the community and just give free information.
Yep.
And I appreciate him also, you know, and these things that, at least this quarantine has helped us with these lives. You know, we keep people informed and even entertained. We got the DJs going on, so we got to thank them and stuff. But we also gotta, you know, and Carlos, like he said, you know, I love him too because I reach out to him every time I'm feeling down because this gets stressful. Y él me da el apoyo. And to the people that help me out, so my family that supports me, and they, you know, they don't get upset when I'm upset.
Right.
So,
right.
But you know, I think we need to. I'm afraid that people are going to get a little more apart than together with this pandemic. We just got to remember who we are, that we're human beings, and we do need affection at the end of the day, not stay apart the way we're staying apart now. So we miss that, and we miss the interaction. I know that.
Yeah.
But we need to see a little more of the human side of things. And remember, if you're doing well now, there are a lot of people that are suffering now. So we always got to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, I want to thank you, Edward. I want to thank you, Carlos. So again, Reaction Tax, Edward Lantigua, Carlos Rodriguez, also both tremendous professionals based right in Upper Manhattan. I want to thank you guys for joining us and have a great holiday weekend. Cuídense este fin de semana y aprovechen el tiempo, descansen, and we'll see you guys soon.
Déjame dar un saludito al Nuevo Sabor que entró ahí, ese restaurante en la 200 ahí al lado de Siemens, muy buena comida.
Gracias por...
Y Ana Rosso que entró también, que ya trabaja con el hospital, haciendo un excelente trabajo para que la comunidad reciba los beneficios. Tú sabes, un saludito a ellos que entraron.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Take care, enjoy your weekend, be safe. Thank you.
All right, thank you.